Hi there. We often get asked what the most effective setup is for your Paidnice account with respect to what policies that you should set up that will have a really big impact, and also how that you can get the most out of your Paidnice account. Now, I'm going to show you some of the ones that we recommend, and then also show you how all the other ones could also work as well. Now, on a base level, you want to get a variety of email reminders set up. So in this situation, we want to have some before the due date reminders. So one that's just maybe a couple of days before the due date, so 3 days before the due date. We want to have one on the due date as well, so remind your customers to pay on time. And if they haven't paid, we've got one after the due date, 5 days after the due date, or however many days you think is effective. On top of that, we've also got an SMS alert as well. So SMS is a great second vector to add outside of email that contacts them on a different medium, so your telephone. And typically, SMSs have one of the highest open rates of any type of communication. Everyone usually opens up their text messages. So that's a really good one to do, especially after the fact. Now, the other ones I've also included here are your automatic statements. So sending a statement to your clients every month, it's just like a nice little nudge at the start of the month or end of the month, that just reminds them, hey, look, there's a couple of invoices or there's an invoice overdue, and it kind of puts them on notice to let them know, hey, we know that you owe us some money, so here's what you owe us. The other one is an interest charge or a late fee. So there's a variety of different late fees that you can set up with Paidnice, but what we would recommend is one of the most effective is a statement interest charge. Now, a statement interest charge is a contact level late fee where we would calculate a annualized interest rate. In this situation, I've done 20%. And what that does is that proratas per day the amount of interest is owing every day. So an example is, let's say invoice is 11 days overdue when this calculation occurs. Let's say this is 11 days overdue. Typically, if you've got invoicing terms that say everything's due on the 20th and let's say the first of the next month, then what we would do is we would calculate that 20% across the whole year for that amount, and then we would work out the daily rate and then times that by 11. That's essentially how that works. And it's a really nice way to do that because it creates a really good incentive for the client to pay on time. Whereas a fixed fee, say like a fixed 10% fee, or even just a fixed rate, say $10 or £10 or whatever, it doesn't create the right incentive because this one is adding up every single day, just like if you had a debt with the bank or credit card company or whichever. So it's kind of exactly the same. And it works out in the exact same way. Now, the automatic statement, again, this includes any potential late fees or anything else that is included there. Now, configuration-wise, it's really simple. You can just set it up from like a monthly basis, pick your day of the month, and then pick basically if you want to do outstanding items or just overdue or all. I recommend outstanding. We've already got an email template there set up, and it's ready to go. Now, some fun little hacks I'm going to show you is one of the really cool things I like to do is set the action time. So set the action time to be 9 o'clock during business hours, essentially. So make sure that nothing goes out outside of business hours. Now, the other ones I like to do for reminders is also to set weekdays. So basically, make sure when you send the email, set the email up that it only goes out during weekdays, not just all days. That means that nothing goes out during Saturday or Sunday. Really, really nice, just a simple one there. And exactly the same thing there. I've also set the action time. Really simple to do. And just make sure that when they arrive when your clients are sitting on their bums in front of their computers. Now you can do that. I've done that here for all of these ones here. I've also done this for the automatic statement and also the statement interest charge as well. One thing I didn't mention is I've also got an escalation here. So essentially, if all of these things don't seem to work, then I want to escalate that to myself to be able to follow up with them. So basically, I want to be able to create a rule here. So after 30 days, I want to be reminded of, hey, I need to basically follow up with this client because their invoice is really overdue. So that's a really, really nice one here. And you can also you can assign this to yourself and or to nobody, but you can also have these automatically being notified or emailed external to the system. So a good example is if you might want to like notify your sales team or um, lawyer or accountant or whomever it is that you want to essentially maybe pick up as debt after it's gotten to this level, so essentially escalating it to the next stage of recovery, then you can do that if they're not part of the system, for example. So yeah, these are some of the baseline policies that I would set up if I was setting up an account. Now, some other things that you can do here as well. You can also do quote reminders as well. So you can do a quote email here. So this is if you send quotes or estimates. So this essentially will remind people that you've sent quotes to or estimates to be able to make sure they don't expire because typically quotes will only last. You might only have a quote period of maybe 10 days or 7 days or 14 days or whatever. Well, this will be an expiry reminder to make sure that they need to accept them or decline them before that date. So you can have some certainty in terms of your sort of cash flow forecasting and also your prospecting. We've also got prompt payment discounts as well. So this is essentially like a reverse late fee. This is something you might be familiar with on your gas or utility bill. Now, this is one where you can add, say, a fixed discount or a percentage-wise discount, and you can have this applied to invoices for, say, basically for, only so many days. So let's say only 7 days after you send the invoice. And then after that 7 days, you want that discount removed. So you can set custom discount periods to make sure that the discount is applied and then and automatically removed as well. So that's a really, really neat one, and it's a very effective policy of getting you paid. Now, how to actually see how some of those work. So let's go into our little actions tab here. So we move over we've got our policies set up here in our default group, and then we've got them actions over here. So if we look at this, we've got scheduled and draft. We can see we've got some escalations that are due to pop up. We've also got some invoice emails due to go out, and now you can basically click on these and action them if you like. So you can forcefully action these. So we can either approve them, which is going to approve them to go out during the scheduled time, or in this situation, this demo, I want to action them now. So I'm going to action that right now. So that's going to action that escalation for me to be able to follow up with. And you've also got some of these emails as well. So we've got 5 days overdue. So again, you can also use this to preview the emails itself as well. You can see, that make sure it looks pretty good, looks tidy there. And then you can essentially force it to go out. Boom, action it now. Again, you can approve it to go out during the actual scheduled time that you want it to go out. But in this situation, this demo, I'm just going to show you how that works. And you've got other things like that. Let's do an interest charge. It'll be an interesting one. So let's go for maybe the limousines. So this one here, we've got 6 invoices in the batch. We're going to action that now. So this is doing a 20% per annum one here across, basically all overdue invoices. And so then we'll see what the result is of that very shortly. So we'll see that one's done. Okay, so now let's have a look at our completed actions here. So we've got a few here. We've got the email escalations we sent out. Let's look at the monthly interest one. So we've got this one here. And this is also where you'd also remove the interest charge, by the way. So if you wanted to just get rid of it, that's where you do it. And what it will do is it will automatically void that invoice that's just created. So you can see here, this is the invoice that's created. So we're going to click on that. Now we can see here we're inside the invoice that was created here. And so we actually had 2 invoices from City Limousines. We had one here, and then we had 2. And then basically one was $150, another one was $19. One was 69 days overdue. And it's worked out the pro rata amount per day, basically. And it's 20% per annum. And that's how much it was. Then it's got this other one here. It's worked it out 32 days across that, X amount per day. And then it's basically worked that out there and generated that interest statement. Sorry, interest invoice. Now, let's have a look at one of the escalations that occurred as well. So I did one earlier and then I did another one. So we can see them here. So these are 2 escalations for me to follow up with. So inside the escalation, you can essentially act on it. And so you can, if it was assigned to someone, let's say, at the moment it's assigned to nobody, so it means that anyone can act on it. But this is where you can, basically follow up, call the client. You can either close it if it's been fine. We can set a new expected payment date. So if they said, they'll pay in a couple of weeks, then we can save that and then pop that in there, and that syncs back into the accounting system. We can also write some notes if we need to as well, and then also select a call outcome as well. So we can say, yep, spoke to the customer and XYZ has happened. So yeah, that's essentially that. We can maybe even close it there. So that's can close that as successful. We can move on to the next one. Um, Other things you can do are view the dashboard, and you can sort of see how your performance is with your account in terms of upcoming actions that are due to go out. You can see the invoice history, slowest payers, oldest invoices, and then also email delivery issues or stuff as well that you can see there. So anywho, that's some of the recommended setup actions on your account in terms of how to set up your account for success, and some of the recommended policies that we recommend that will help you get paid on time, and also just to ensure that you've set up a really solid accounts receivable process. So cool. Thanks.